You have the power of choice.
Believe on the Lord Jesus Christ.
Welcome to Life Today Live. Randy Robinson, good to have you here, and I'm excited today because I've got a gentleman that, we've seen on the big screen and the small screen and all our mobile screens for a while now. He is a wonderful actor, and he's got a new movie called No Vacancy that he stars in, and so we'll get into that, and we'll stray from the script a little bit and find out what's going on. But my guest today is Dean Cain. Most of you, if you watched the Superman series on TV, Lois and Clark is that the name of it? I never watched it.
Sure.
Know him as Superman. Everybody says, oh, you got Superman. I'm like, I just know Christopher Reeves because I'm that old. But Dean Cain's with me. Dean, great to have you on Life Today Live.
Thank you, Randy. And I take no offense at you not ever watching my Superman series. That's okay.
All I do is read the Bible and watch Pure Flix.
That's it. Well, this was way before Pure Flix ever came into existence, but
okay, fair enough. All right, but let's hit the movie real quick because I want people to know about this one. No Vacancy.
No Vacancy is it's based on a true story. So that's one of the things that makes it so compelling. And there's three stories that sort of are told at the same time during the film, but I think the most compelling story is that of Cecil Johnson, played by T.C. Stallings, and he's a guy who is done with life. He is a drug addict, alcoholic. He just doesn't. His mom is a church-going woman. She wants to save him. She can't do anything. He doesn't want to be saved. He even tries to kill himself at the beginning of the film and can't even do that right. So through some happenstance circumstances, some may say divine intervention, he ends up at a place where my character works, and it's a ministry that helps to deal with the homeless and the addicted. And that church, I play Pastor Cliff Lee, who's a real guy and much taller than me. I couldn't play any taller, so I tried to take in his warm vibe and his niceness. Maybe the nicest guy I've ever met. He takes him in, and what they do there at this place is they give these men and women a hand up, not just a hand out, but a hand up. And this takes place, I think, in the 80s during the where the homeless crisis was strongest in Central Florida. And it's an incredible story of redemption, and it serves as a model for maybe how other people can treat the homeless and the addicted moving forward.
All right, so a great movie to check out, and if you like DVDs, you can still get DVDs. You can also stream it a lot of different places, including Apple TV, Salem Now, Google TV, Amazon, Christian Cinema. So just go look for it. I think Redbox has it too. I saw Redbox recently. Those were great when those came out. But so definitely No Vacancy. Go check out the movie. Did you know T.C. Stallings prior to making this?
I did not know him personally, but I knew of him and knew his story.
I like him. I think he's one of the coolest guys ever. I was just curious if you enjoyed working with him.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
He's an amazing guy. We're both football players, so we share a brain.
Just
True.
one? Does the two football players make one whole brain? Is that what you're saying?
That's how it works. Yes,
That's
sir.
how it works. Okay, good enough. So here's the personal question, because, I mean, come on, man. You could be doing lots of things professionally, right? Why are you making a Christian movie?
Well, you mentioned Pure Flix way back when, and one of the first films that they did was called God's Not Dead.
Yeah.
Which I was in, obviously, and we've just announced we're going to do God's Not Dead 5, and my character is going to return. I'm not sure he's going to have any redeeming qualities because he didn't have any in the first one. I think he may still be the same guy. We'll see how that ends up. But when my son, I'm a single father, so when my son was born, my life had to take some major changes, and just things changed organically anyway. Just because here was this human being who came in. And this miracle of life, and it blew me away. And he is my favorite human being on the planet. I mean, I adore this child. He's 22 years old now. He's in school in North Carolina. But everything changed for me then. And also, I was fighting a custody battle with his mother. She didn't want me to have any custody. She thought I should have visitation. And I thought I should have joint custody because I'm adopted. My dad adopted me, and I know how important it is to have both parents in a child's life. And she was making me she wanted me to be the every other weekend visitation guy. And I was not about to do that. So we fought a nasty custody battle, which I ended up winning joint custody, which is what I wanted, which I thought was fair. And then I was in his life. But I changed. I was really limited to what I could do because my work worked against me in a custody situation. So if I have to be on set all day,
Right.
I'm not a present father. So you're gone. They won't give you the custody. They'll give it to the mom because I work. So I had to limit what I did. I wouldn't take the lead in any series. I could do ensemble series, but I had to limit my time on them per the contract so I can guarantee it. Changing days is a big deal. All that stuff is really difficult. But I managed to do all that. And one of the things I was doing while I was doing that is I wanted to make projects that my son could be on set for, that he could watch, that he could see. So I made a lot of kids' movies. And then when he was about 5 years old, 4 years old maybe, we were having those conversations you have with little ones, and he realized that someday he was going to die. And he couldn't sleep. Body would be shaking. I'd have to take him outside, sit under the stars, calm him down. And we started talking about faith. And that is when I decided it was very important that I make films like No Vacancy that have the right values and morals and tell the stories that affect people's lives. And so I've been doing that, making a lot of these. Some of them are very small because a buddy of mine makes these. Jason Campbell makes JC Films, makes very low budget ones, and I show up for a day and do whatever I can on it for nothing, because his idea is to change the culture through making these films and tell people stories that otherwise wouldn't be told. And so I love being a part of that. So I'm going to continue doing that as long as I can. So
your son's an adult now. Looking back on the decisions you made, the sacrifices you made, the accommodations you made, even the battle you fought, the custody battle you fought, was it worth it?
100%. I would give up everything to be his father, everything. And fortunately, I didn't have to. I had to struggle, make that balance. But there's nothing like the love that I have for him and he for me. It's incredible. He's, like I said, he's my favorite person. He's growing up. He's an adult, so I get to hear from him every now and again, and usually it's pretty quick. Yeah. Hey, Dad, I need some money for this.
right. Yeah. Usually the communication has a dollar sign in it, right?
It's that, but he also shares his report card stuff with me. This is going on, and he's so busy and having it's all you pray for as a parent. Yeah. But it's also it's a bummer because I don't need you anymore.
I got 4 in their 20s now, all married.
Oh my gosh.
And
all married. Wow.
I know, right? So, but it's a wild thing. But here's one thing that I noticed when I started having kids, and I grew up in the church. I don't know if you know my history or anything, but I was adopted for one. We have that in common. But aside from that, when I started having kids, I felt like I understood a little more about God in this unconditional love, not always approval of the actions, but the unconditionality, the sacrifice, I'm going to love you no matter what. I'm going to love you through anything. And I want communication with you. That whole thing. Did any of that resonate with you?
100%. 100%. And and your kids are different than you, and they are interested in things that are different than what you're interested in. Myself being a professional athlete and playing football and all that sort of stuff. I remember when he was growing up, he's going to be a ball player. That kid didn't want to play football when he got a little bit older. He ended up being a jiu-jitsu fighter. So I took up boxing so I could be there with him. I wrestled a lot, so I knew he'd be good at jiu-jitsu because I'd wrestled with him, and I was like, wow, he's really good. But he's just not the same guy. And so that's part of the unconditional love. I took up what he took up because I wanted to be around him. But there is that unconditional love. I feel bad for people who don't feel that. And I guess there are some who do. And I don't understand that because it doesn't compute in my brain. Right. But yes, it's completely selfless. It is pure love. I'm not married, so I hope one day to be and have that feeling toward my spouse. But currently, it all rains on my child.
Okay, I might have some suggestions for you.
All right. Okay. Okay.
So, from a career standpoint, now that your son's an adult, you could devote more time. What are you planning on doing? What do you think?
Well, because he's an adult now, I have spent more time doing things. I just wrote, produced, and directed a film called Little Angels. And starred in it, and we're just going out to distributors now. So that should be something coming out early 2023, if not late 2022. And that takes an incredible amount of time and effort, much more so than just being an actor. I mean, I'm doing 9 films probably this whole year. Throughout this year, I've done like 9 films. I'm very, very busy. I'm also a part-time police officer, reserve police officer in Pocatello, Idaho, and I'm a full sworn sheriff's deputy in Frederick County, Virginia. So I spent some time with this foundation called the Crimes Against Children Foundation, which aims to keep children safe, prevent suicide, dealing with online bullying and predators and the things like that exist. So I work with the ICAC divisions of all these departments, and which is the Internet Crimes Against Children, because it's so pervasive today. So I do that as well. And like I said, I've probably done 9 movies, this year, 8, 9 movies, and I've got 2 or 3 more to shoot.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I mean, I'm busier than ever, but I also teach at my son's school. So, or a couple days a year, I come out there and I talk about filmmaking and acting, that sort of fun stuff.
You're busy.
It gives me a chance to go visit him with him without him yelling at me.
Yeah. But I another thing we have in common, a couple of other things we have in common. I actually worked with the police department years ago, early days of the internet, to catch predators. Ended up going to DC, working with Nick Mick a little bit, and helping to craft some early laws with Congressman Steve Largent at the time.
Largent, the man.
Yeah,
what
right,
a receiver.
Right, good. Oh, yeah, that's right.
I understand he was a congressman and all that, but he's a great receiver.
That's funny. And you have been in 8 or 9 movies this year. I think I've watched 8 or 9 movies this year, so we have that in common too. Fascinating stuff. I'm glad to hear you got a lot going on. Where was I going with this?
We were talking about the laws that you crafted.
No, the laws that I crafted. No, I won't take credit for that. I won't take. No, what I was going to ask you is this, because you are interested in influencing culture, and I've followed you on Twitter a bit, and you are interested in politics. You're interested in shaping culture. You're interested in standing up for certain values. That's not real popular in your business.
To put it mildly, no, it is not. And it's not something I probably would have done as a young actor. But when you're of a certain age and you've had some life experience and you see things changing and things going in directions that aren't healthy, regardless of whether it's, deemed the cool thing to do, I think we have a responsibility to speak up. And there's a saying, you may not be interested in politics, but I promise you politics is interested in you. And that's true, 100% true. So I sit here in the state of California, where we have the highest state taxes in the nation, sales tax, gas tax. So I look at the middle class just being crunched by these incredible taxes. I know lots and lots of, like, you were friends with Congressman Largent. I'm friends with tons of congressmen, senators, all sorts of politicians, presidents, things of that nature. And I look at government and how it's run, and I see the incredible amounts of fraud and abuse and waste. If I would much rather trust a church to have homeless outreach than I would a government agency, because a church will do a heck of a lot better job. It's way more hands-on. It's much smaller. It's much more concentrated. There isn't fraud and abuse. There always is some, but not to that degree.
Right.
The government, if you want something done ineffectively, have the government do it. They're terrible. They are giant bureaucratic nightmares. And so these things affect everybody's lives. And I just have to speak up on that, and values as a father. These things are important to me. There's things that I want my kid learning in school. Some of this stuff that's going on now in schools, I would have blown a gasket. I ended up pulling my son out and putting him in a Christian school when he was in 6th grade until he graduated high school. And it was the greatest. My god kids are doing the same thing now, because I don't want them exposed to some of these ridiculous concepts and ideas that aren't healthy. And that's a parent's job, not some school teacher.
Yeah. It's crazy, because when I was a kid, we were worried about the fact that maybe some science classes were teaching you that apes could become men. And now we're teaching that men can become women.
And vice versa.
It's crazy.
Vice versa. I make controversial statements on Twitter like, men cannot get pregnant.
Right. Thank God.
Yeah, I saw. Listen, I witnessed childbirth. I don't want to have to do that.
Yeah, if men could, there'd be a lot of single kids, like only child, right? All right. I know I need to let you go. I'm sure we could talk a lot longer, and I've enjoyed the conversation. I respect your time. Is there anything else I need to know, either about No Vacancy, the film, or about Dean Cain and what you're involved in, what you want people to know?
Well, No Vacancy, if they can stream it, it's a great film. And Sean Young is in it as well, and she's fantastic, playing a jaded reporter who comes in. We could talk about it for an hour and a half, but she does a really nice job. Big through line through the whole film is her reporting on it. I got another film coming out, Paul's Promise, another Christian film, which is I play a smaller role in it, but it's a great story, also based on a true story. A lot of these Christian films tend to be based on a true story because there's a lot of them out there. Yeah. And those are very, very effective in teaching a morality and teaching life lessons without. Well, sometimes the Christian film's hammered on you, but I tend to try to get them
beyond some of that. We're improving some of those real preachy,
better storytelling.
Films. Yeah, get a little more storytelling. That's right. All right, Dean.
And then Little Angels should be coming out in 2023. Check that out too. It's a fun family movie.
Little Angels, great. There's a lot of information, but you guys. Just Google Dean Cain, you'll see what's going on, or follow his Twitter feed. He's talking about it there too. And you'll get some other bonus content. Dean, thank you. Appreciate your time. Appreciate all that you're doing, really, for the kingdom.
I'm honored. Thank you for having me on. Appreciate it, Randy. Thank you.
All right. I will let him go because I know he's got other interviews to do. But to you guys out there watching, I will show you the website for No Vacancy. It looks like this, novacancymovie.com. And again, lots of places you can stream it. If you go to the website, it'll show you where you can stream it if you haven't found it already on your device. And then if you go to Twitter, by the way, at Real Dean Cain, you just type in Dean Cain, you'll find his account. Fun guy to follow. Oh, you're still here? Okay, so
yeah, it's exciting stuff though. I like to hear it. I'll go now, but do check out the Twitter feed. It gets spicy sometimes.
Hey, man, you stay as long as you want. I'm trying to be the respectful host here, and because I know you're a busy guy. But
and you are, and I appreciate Randy. God bless.
Appreciate you guys again out there watching. Do check out the movie. Check out Dean Cain, and come back if you haven't followed, subscribed, shared, or liked. I would invite you to do that now. You'll get more notifications when I get celebrities like Dean Cain on the show, right? Oh, I just turned into Joe Biden, whispering into the mic. Sorry, I won't do that. I follow Dean. He tells me not to do that. Anyway, had enough. It's been a fun one. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you again next time here on Life Today.
We've got some difficult days ahead, but it really doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop.